Embracer is an interesting song in that sometimes I'll write songs and I'm not really sure where they go. This song sort of returns to the narrative of June in space. Where we left off June was the last we saw June was Shiny's spaceship. He'd punched in the March of Life code. He's floating off towards the sun. But we don't actually see June's reaction past her recognizing that he's left. Now that we've sort of gone through what we've gone through, we return to June in space and we figure out what's going to happen next in the story. What it is June feels she must do something. If you remember in previous episodes, I referred to her having a sense of destiny about Shiny. Okay, now she's in that moment where she has to make a decision. Remember, she put herself in space to be close to Shiny. So what does she do? She decides to sing to Shiny, as she often does. She feels like she can communicate to him through song. What she does is she recognizes Shiny's place in her life, his importance as an artist, as her importance as a muse to the world. She may have an overinflated sense of his value, but that's what she believes in, right? That's all about character belief. And so she makes a decision in this particular moment of what she's going to do in reaction to Shiny. She, in essence, refuses to accept that Shiny's going to die. The key here is that she chooses not to suicide herself. She chooses to take action. She refuses to accept Shiny's decision. She could easily say, well, that was his decision. I respect it. Because again, she doesn't have a relationship with him in reality. It's all strictly in her mind. How she perceives him as an artist, how she perceives him as a man. So what she chooses to do, and unbeknownst to anybody, of course, because we're in the narrative, is when she was going on her ship, she smuggled on the ability to communicate back to Earth in a very, very primitive way. Now, the sun has to be at a particular aspect. It has to sort of wipe out the ability to be tracked. And so what she does is she sends a message down to Earth. She can only do so anonymously on a message board, but she leaves a coded message that only a Shiny fan would understand, because you got to remember, he's been completely erased from human reality. There's no trace of him. There's no sign of him. So if you just Google his name, to use a modern parlance, nothing comes up. There's no picture. There's no nothing. There's nothing. He doesn't exist in modern technology frame. She chooses to put anonymously on a message board using a very primitive form of communication on a message board that only a Shiny fan would recognize. And she says basically that Shiny has taken the March of Life, hoping that somebody on Earth will do something to change his course. There are AI systems, and there are people who commandeer these AI systems that are able to snuff out any information that refers to this former person named Shiny or Glass or Zero. So again, if you were just to go on common, Googling, you would find no trace of Shiny. He does not exist. There is no picture. There is no interview. There is no text. There is no reference. His name doesn't even appear in a search engine in any form. The person known as Shiny does not exist. He has been digitally erased. So when she puts her message on a message board, she is hoping somebody, and remember, they've been in space for 20 years. She is hoping somebody will respond and do something. She does not know what. It is the equivalent of putting a message in a bottle and throwing it into the ocean and hoping that somebody finds it. Here's a lyric from the song that I think gets to the heart of the matter. Shake hard this summons with bottles tossed down said seas of noise in notes and sighs to the void. I'd love you to follow a star on the rise entombed by blue. So Shiny's in the sky floating away. In heat of the sage, I've sent out a faith once removed. I realize it's only the lonely who should lose. I realize, said the knife to the spoon, it's only the lonely who should lose. So what she's saying is, Shiny doesn't deserve the fate that Shiny has chosen for himself. Shiny is worth more than this, and I, June, the character, am going to try my best with the tools that I have in hand, which is essentially a bottle thrown into the ocean. She puts an anonymous message on a message board and hopes somebody will notice. Faith is at the center of this story. She has faith that what she's about to do is going to do something to save the man that she loves.